What's on your mind?
Don't ever stop. Don't ever stop.
What do you think?
Well, you can tell it's Monday. That's what I think. God. You know, I'm just over here finding a little more additional information, and all of a sudden I hear, not a commercial, I hear Armstrong and Getty, and I'm going, what the heck is going on here today? Oh, yeah, the commercial break was over. Thank you for letting me know this. I mean, you know, sometimes I get so absorbed in trying to do everything here. Well, you do have to do everything, Ann, because you are a one-woman show. That's right. Anyways, good morning, everybody. Good morning. This is WCRS Radio. I am Ann Eller, and I am glad to be with you. We've had a little before the curtain goes up conversation here, and somebody just said, "And where'd you go?" I was right here just jamming to some music, trying to find a few things for the show. So let's get started. One of our listeners just happened to remind me. In fact, this happened last week. Loretta Swift, Hot Lips, left us last week. So in honor of Hot Lips, I wanted to play this morning. That is in honor of Loretta Swift right here on WCRS Radio. She was, Loretta Jane Swift was an American stage and television actress. She was highly known as the character roles, prominently her roles as Major Margaret Hot Lips Houlihan on MASH, for which she was nominated in each season for the long-running show and winning 2 Emmy Awards in 1980 and 1982. She was born November 4th, 1937. She left this earth May 30th, 2025. So she was originally from New Jersey. Her parents were both of Polish descent, and so there you go. That is a little bit. She studied drama with Gene Frankel in Manhattan, New York City, and considered him her acting coach. She regularly returned to his studio to speak with aspiring actors throughout her career. She was also a singer, having trained at the American Academy of Dramatic Arts. But, you know, you just never know in life what role that somebody is going to hit it on. And of course, I think in today's world, everybody looks at Facebook, TikTok particularly, YouTube, as a way to get recognized, known, etc. But in this case, it was MASH that was her fame. She played in a lot of off-Broadway plays. She really did a lot of plays. I'm not really sure how she arrived in Hollywood in 1969. She performed guest roles in various television series, including Hawaii Five-0, which was her first TV credit. Did you know that? Gunsmoke, Mission Impossible, and Mannix. And so starting in 1972, she played the extremely capable head nurse, Major Margaret Hot Lips Houlihan, in the television series MASH. How many still, when they have an opportunity, watch MASH if it's on TV and you happen to see it, or if you go back on Netflix or something and watch the series? Raise your hand. Me, I still enjoy that show. And think that it is so great. One of our listeners said that song is as sad as Taps for me personally. And it is. And it was a time that that was, of course, during the Korean War, and the comedy was set in a U.S. Mobile Army Surgical Hospital during the Korean War. And Swift inherited the art-making role from actress Sally Kellerman, who had portrayed Houlihan in the feature film. So there you go. That's sad to see her go. Wonderful that we got to know her on the screen, and I didn't know that she continued to visit where she actually learned her craft every year to help the students and give them support. So that's that's pretty cool. In 1981, Swift played the role of Christine Cagney in the movie Pilot. There you go. Did you know that? I didn't know that. So that's just a little bit about Loretta Swift, Hot Lips, as she was always known as. What a great show that was. And that's where I think TV misses it today. Of course, I guess we couldn't have a show like MASH on TV today because it just wouldn't hit all the buttons, right? And so that leads me into my next little piece here for you. Shall we take it away? Let's take it away. There you go. That was my favorite show growing up. I think it used to come on at 9 o'clock on Saturday night, and quite often my parents would go out on Saturday night, and so I'd get on the sofa and watch that TV show and just love every minute of it, be absorbed in every second of it. You know, the characters, the excitement was just always the same. In fact, sometime during my life as an entrepreneur with sharp facets, if I was going to be out of town, I would leave a recording. Yes, this is back when you used to have little tapes, the cassettes. The little cassettes. And I did a recording one time. Well, I did it several times. But the first time I did it for my staff, and I told them that their mission, should they decide to accept it, was to do a couple $1,000s and to make sure the store was clean and blah, blah, blah. And that this tape would self-destruct in 30 seconds or whatever it was. You know, those were the days. And my staff actually thought it was pretty clever. Well, it was. So, the characters and the development and everything in Mission Impossible on TV has certainly turned into a very, very, very successful movie series for Oh, for what's his face, it is finally starting to age a little bit. Finally starting to age a little bit, right? It is a series that has done so well, so well. And let's see, here we go. It's been given all kinds of reviews. I'll give you mine in just a second. Rotten Tomatoes, the film boasts an 80% critic score and an impressive 89% audience score, earning the certified fresh designation from Rotten Tomatoes. RogerEbert.com describes it as incredibly funny, noting that it feels half its length and contains enough memorable action series consequences for the entire franchise. The New Yorker says, while acknowledging the film's thrilling sequences, it mentions that it struggles with excessive dialogue and convoluted plot. Time magazine commends Tom Cruise's dedication to practical stunts, stating that despite a convoluted plot, the film's action and exotic settings ensure an exciting cinematic experience. So, for accolades, the film received nominations for Best Sound and Best Visual Effects at the 96 Academy Awards, making it the first time a Mission Impossible film was nominated for an Oscar. They've been quite a big, has been quite a good reviews by people that have seen it. And now I am going to give you my review of this one. I liked it. Although, we saw it on a Sunday night, so, I was so jazzed up by the time I got finished with the movie. I had to come back here and work like a crazy lady because I was so into what I was doing and so awake. But it was great. It was great. And, I like the fact that they actually had some of the elements. Tom Cruise, I thought this was very interesting. Tom Cruise came on in the very beginning and said he appreciated each and every one being there. It was just him as Tom Cruise, just sitting there saying that he hoped you enjoyed the film, yada, yada, yada. But it was rather interesting that he was there as opening the film. And then they have the opening, and you think you're into the film, and you're not really, because then the film begins. So it really is quite a thrilling. Now, some of the stunts, I think are a little bit outrageous. I don't want to give anything away if you haven't seen it. If you have, let me know if you've seen it, let me know what you think. 864-229-7984. I do think this film will not look as good on the small screen. I think watching it in a movie theater with the huge surround sound and the huge whole screen and everything certainly would make a difference. I'm not sure how great it would transfer to the small screen. But I love the fact that one of the people is the grandson of Jim Phelps, who was the original ringleader of Mission Impossible on the TV series. I like that. He was supposed to be the grandson. And there was a lot of going back to things that happened in the past. One of the characters who has been banished to Antarctica, or was it Antarctica or was it the North Pole? I don't know. Anyways, they were in this outpost. Was actually somebody that had gotten in trouble, and the Mission Impossible team, most of them remembered him, and he'd been banished to this outpost as a listening session for all these years. Of course, the stunts are outstanding. I'm going to be talking to Tom Richards and just see if he has seen the movie. I didn't get a chance to do it last night. But I want to talk to him and see if he was involved in any of these stunts, because I'm going to tell you what, as a stunt pilot himself, flying in all these air shows during the summer, the stunts that happened on the air show part of this, where these two double wing planes were fighting it out, and that's all I'm going to say, are unbelievable. And if Tom Cruise did those scenes, more power to him, more power to him. He is very famous for doing these scenes. And I also like the fact that after it was all over, let's just say it this way, they all didn't sit down, go have a beer or a glass of wine and laugh about it. It's very Mission Impossible. And I think, isn't it supposed to be the last one? Well, they kind of left the door open. But it's very modern. It's very up to date. It talks about the theme of it is AI is taking over the world. Which, when you think about it, this is one of the things that we worry about. So I highly recommend, if you like adventure. Now, the only thing that I've said for years is that anymore, it's hard to follow along, particularly if you're an older person. It's hard to follow along when you get all this blowing up stuff and things happening left and right and everything. But overall, it still is a fabulous movie. If you can keep up, it is a fabulous show. So I hope you get to go see it. It is playing at our local theaters. And as I said, the seats make everything just so comfortable and so nice. I just think since they've upgraded the theater there, and this has been several years, but every time I go, because I don't go that often, I'm always so impressed about being able to put my feet up, adjust the seat, so I'm just so comfortable. It's just so lovely. So that is my review of Mission Impossible. Dun 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 dun. All right. Then what else? I got a couple more things. I do want to talk about some politics, but I want to talk about John Wick Chapter 4 was on TV this weekend. So I happened to sit down and watch that, and then come to find out that coming up this Friday is I thought that John Wick was finished, done. But just like all good things that must come back, John Wick is coming, Wilk is coming back. And so they have the newest series of that will be coming out, I think it's on, is it on Friday? I think it's on Friday. So just wanted to alert you to that, because that is coming up. And I will be going to see that one also, because that one, again, action. But the thing about it is, in the movie, Chapter 4, he dies, supposedly. I had a question about it, though. When I was watching the movie, I hadn't seen the movie before. I did have a question about whether he was actually dead, because in Chapter 4, you should see it if you think you want to go see the new movie. They show a headstone, and one of the head guys says, "Oh, we'll miss you, blah, blah, blah," and he's buried next to his wife and everything. But then, dun, 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 we saw the preview at the movie theater, and yes, he is back. He is back. So that's the new series coming out. And again, some of the most fantastic things that are, yes, from the world of John Wick. Ballerina is the name of this movie. And by the way, I hadn't seen Chapter 1, 2, and 3. I just saw Chapter 4. And that was pretty fantastic as far as a series. And then Ballerina is coming up. Ballerina, the world of John Wick from Ballerina. And yes, guess what? He is around. Keanu Reeves, what a character. what a series. So if you haven't seen that, you might want to bone up and watch chapter 4 at least. If you want to binge this week and get ready for the new series, you might like to do that. But I plan to watch this one because this is another one. It's just, how do these people keep going? I mean, really. Anyways, 2 good movies. Mission Impossible, absolutely fabulous. I always loved the fact they made the masks and they looked like other people, and then they'd tear off the mask, and the characters just aligned so well with the original series, with the Mission Impossible TV series. Just loved it. All right, so that is my movie update from this weekend. Penny and I were out there walking. Well, I'll save that one to the end. I think we need to talk about some politics. This tomorrow is the day that, unless he just signed it, is the day that the governor has to sign the new budget for South Carolina, Governor McMaster. And I, quite frankly, I've been talking about this. I've been talking about how wrong I think it is the way they put this $1,500 a month, as somebody called it, an amendment to the budget. Now, this was a person that was in the House of Representatives talking about, let's see if I can get it here. Here we go. Oh, okay. His name is Corey Allen. And he talks about, in this, he has some little podcast type thing, and he was talking about State House Rep James Teeple. He said, is a true statesman. He spoke against the budget today and against the forced 80% pay raise that was attached to the budget. And so I thought I might play it for you. Let's see. I had it queued up, and they, of course, when I clicked on it, they did away with it. So let's see if I can find that for you. Here it is. I want to get this is James Teeple, who is going to be talking. And I thought I would play this because I thought it was very interesting. All right, let's see if I can. I'm right there close to it. Here we go. All right, let's play this and then we'll discuss it afterwards.
It be the speaker, a whip, or anyone else ever told me how I had to vote on a bill. They have never once demanded any of that. They have always said that you vote what's best for your constituents and you vote what's in your heart. And I take issue with folks that would say, and a lot of times it's folks in the media and stuff, well, he was told how to vote. That never once has happened. We all are free to vote how.
Hold on. I forgot to do something. Oh, where is it? Okay. I may have things correct now. I may not, but hopefully I do. That is my fault because I messed up earlier. This is what happens. All right, let's listen to this again. This is James Teeple. He is a representative in the House of Representatives, talking about his vote and that his vote he was never told how to vote. And let's go ahead and pick it up again.
What's best for your constituents, and you vote what's in your heart. And I take issue with folks that would say, and a lot of times it's folks in the media and stuff, well, he was told how to vote. That never once has happened. We all are free to vote how we feel to vote. And I think it's disingenuous to say that our leaders in the House have ever told us how to vote. That doesn't happen. If someone's saying that happens, I just think they're being dishonest with you, because that's not the case. The elephant in the room, it seems like today, is the pay raise. An additional $18,000 a year. Now, I donate my salary to two causes anyway, and that's St. Jude for saving the life of my daughter. I could give them millions and it wouldn't be enough. So they and Camp Firefly, a camp that Kirk Cameron and his family put on for terminally ill kids, they get the other half. I'll take this pay. I'm sure this budget's going to pass. I'm sure it is. But I'll take that $18,000 and it will be split between St. Jude and Camp Firefly, just to Guffey's point, that there are wonderful things that they do with that money. They don't get taxpayer dollars, but they get donations, and that's what they're going to get from me. So this doesn't impact me personally, and that's not a challenge to anyone else. I know that we're underpaid, and it's a loss to come up here. And all the sacrifices and time away from your family. One of the hardest things for myself is I don't get to put my kids to bed 3 to 4 nights a week when we're in session. And I got to be honest with you, that hurts. But it's a sacrifice, it's service, and that's what we're here for. Now, if this was next year and our constituents had a chance to vote whether they thought we deserved it and that we were still the right person, I'd be more open to it. I was very happy that Mr. Taylor put in Representative Taylor put in a bill that would have us have a study committee, just like we do for our constitutional officers. But I don't think it's our place to vote ourselves a pay raise, but I'm not faulting anyone who votes for it. I'm not faulting anybody who votes yay or nay for this budget. We need a budget. We have to have a budget. I'm about as pro-teacher and pro-education as you can get. I love education. It's my life. I love all our policemen and firefighters, EMTs. I love them to death. I'm a military veteran, and supporting our veterans is another big priority of mine. But this is an up or down vote. And I've learned quite a bit being a freshman since we passed the first budget. It wasn't that long ago, but it seems like an eternity when you're new. And I've done a lot of talking to folks and digging. And although this is a good budget, I feel like the work is not done. That we all are wanting us to go to a 0% income tax in our state. And I feel like if we want to get really serious about those issues and lowering property taxes further, then we can trim the fat. And I'm not talking about gutting or taking a hatchet or an axe to these agencies. But we have a significant amount of bureaucratic agencies that could be much more efficient and much more lean. And political agendas don't register with me. I don't care about narratives. That's not my thing. And I'm a lifetime member of the Republican caucus. But I have to vote my heart here. I'm going to vote no on this budget because that's the only tool I have to at least take a stand and say that I want to get serious about lowering our income tax to 0. I think if we took a hard look at it, we could be at 1.99 now. No, I'm not an accountant, and I'm not on Ways and Means. I've heard that we might have to take a prisoner home. But you know what? I think we could get around a lot of that stuff. If we ask these agencies, and a lot of you, if you ask them outside, they'll tell you that they could, in hard times, to Kathy Landing's point, find 5 or 10% that they could cut. 10% of this budget is what? Or is it 1.4 billion? I can't remember the numbers. I'm new. But guys, again, though, I want to reiterate, Ways and Means did a fantastic job here. I just think the work's not done. We would still have an opportunity here. And when it comes to, I'm sure, and I don't, honestly, being reelected is not important to me. But I do support teachers, and I want folks, especially at home, to know I support education. I support all the great things that are in this bill. But we have to take a stand sometimes, plant that flag and say, hey, let's get serious about cutting and trimming fat, getting to 1.99 on a faster path to 0, and we should take that seriously. And thank you for your time. I appreciate it, Mr. Speaker.
That was, I thought, a fabulous speech from the floor of the House, and that was James Teeple. That was before they were taking the vote last week on whether to pass the budget in the House. I believe that was on Wednesday. And so, as you can see, not everybody wants to get that $18,000 raise. And not all people think that it is correct to do this. So now I want to flip over to the letter. Yes, the letter. Oh, Lord. Okay, here we go. The letter that Muriel Smith has put out to all those in the House. Now, I don't know if this is to the Senate. I don't think so. And I tried to check and see if there had been anything put out in the Senate. And so far, I don't think so. But this is to the members of the South Carolina House of Representatives from House Speaker Merle Smith Jr. And he did that on May 28th. And it says, as you know, the annual general appropriations bill amends the monthly in-district expense payment to all legislators by increasing the monthly payment from $1,000 to $2,500 per month for all House and Senate representatives. Some House members have informed me they do not wish to receive the increase in monthly in-district expense. In response to these concerns, I consulted with the House clerk and arranged for members to have the option to refuse the receipt of the increase in the in-district expense payments. If you are opposed to the in-district expense payment and do not wish to receive the $1,500 per month, you must fill out the attached form, sign it, list your House district member, and return it to the clerk of House no later than 9 a.m. on Monday, June 9th. By submitting the completed form, you are waiving receipt of the $1,500 increase for the remainder of your current term of office, ceasing Monday, November 9th, 2026. You must, and then there, of course, I have a copy of Marvin Mark Smith, who is from House District 99. And in that, they have to say, I waive receipt of allotted increase of $1,500 per month in legislators' monthly in-district expense. And it has to be signed and turned in. Now, I don't know what the Senate is doing, but this is something that the House is doing. I thought that speech that we heard from the floor was so terrific by Mr. Teeples that he will take the raise, but he will just give it away. So there's give it away to two things that he believes strongly in. And as he said, he didn't do, you actually lose money to be in the House or the Senate, but it's supposed to be a service. It's not supposed to be a money-making. I understand that there are those who feel differently about it, who feel that they do a lot for our districts, and they do. But at a time where we really don't know the future of the economy, as I said last week, I heard a report where Canadians particularly are not thinking about not coming to the USA because of the tariffs. I know Myrtle Beach has a huge influx of people, particularly from Canada, coming down here. Will that affect what they do? Will it affect our city's tourism dollars? These are things that have to be considered. Instead of considering that we're in a bubble and nothing is going to change, should we not be thinking about what are going to be the effects? That is something that I think is serious business, and maybe we shouldn't have been, not we, I'm not in that group. Maybe they should have thought about some of these things before they started adding more dollars. They found $1 billion. They spent 3.2 on raises. Is that not a little ridiculous? I hope you concur with my opinion. But anyways, I'd love to hear from you. 864-229-7984. That's 864-229-7984. What do you think about this? Just something to contemplate. And if you feel one way or the other, since they do have till June 9th, you can contact your legislators, i.e. John McCravey, Daniel Gibson, Billy Garrett in the Senate, and tell them how you feel about this. You may feel, we all feel, well, they're doing this, and there's a side to that. But they signed up for the job not getting that amount of money. And I concur that this should have been put as a vote to the voters and let the people decide. They had set up a study committee in the House to study this, and then, as Mr. Teeples said, Representative Teeples said, 6 people just decided to amend it to the budget and just add it in as a budget item. The governor has already said on record he's inclined not, I repeat, not to veto that. And if that is the case, then this is a done deal unless you or I say something to our legislators about how we feel about this. I realize this is probably, some people are saying, and why do you make it such a big deal about it? Because I think it's so outrageous. I just think it is so outrageous that that they just did this without even saying to us, this is right, this is wrong. So, if you feel the same way about it, please go ahead and contact your legislators. Daniel Gibson, John McCravey, and Senator Billy Garrett are our 3 for this area. But you know what? There's no reason you can't contact more of them. So, just my personal opinion. By the way, if you were watching the video and you were watching me getting down behind my desk here, and we're going, where did Ann go? While I was playing Teeples, I was down there on the floor trying to untangle Penny. She's down there whimpering like, I'm all screwed up, Mom. I can't move. Anyways, that would be a reason just to go back and see it. It was pretty funny. All right. Other news that is out there that I wanted to share with you today. How are we doing time-wise? We're good. I want to share, where is it? Here we go. One of the sources out there that I use to find information and everything, Fitz News. And one article that I saw that I thought was rather interesting, as everybody is looking at getting ramped up for the governor's race. And actually, it's not too early. People are talking about running for Senate against Lindsey Graham. The Democrats had their big meet down there in Columbia. Yeah, they had Tim Walz down there. What a guy. The former vice president candidate with Kamala Harris. What a guy. Anyways. They think they've got a good chance to come back here, as anyone does. So they do have some Democrats have decided they have a new Democrat that is leaning towards running for 2026 South Carolina governor's run. He says South Carolina is at a crossroads. So Democrats haven't won a statewide race in 20 years and haven't won a top-of-the-ticket race since 1998. Despite this steep hill, businessman, educator Jermaine Johnson of Hopkins, South Carolina, is planning on giving it a go. He was born on the 4th of July. How about that? And has formed an exploratory committee to consider a campaign for governor of South Carolina in the 2026 election. So there you go. And he has, by forming that exploratory commission, he can accept funding for his campaign. He gets a lot of advantages by exploring a exploratory campaign idea. So that's one that is out there that is going to be running for this. What else we have some other people that are jumping into the race too. But the one I wanted to talk about was Andre Bauer. Maybe looking at a run against Lindsey Graham. Can you believe this? Can you believe this? This is the one that is interesting me the most. Now, I'd been in, I guess it was 2010, 2012, and of course then Nikki Haley, Andre was the lieutenant governor, and then he made a run for governor, and that was in the Nikki Haley time frame that we're talking about. After that, he did drop out. But at the time, Andre Bauer was certainly pounding the pavement. In fact, right before the election, over there at Sharp Facets, he had his Andre Bauer bus. They came through and stopped and were on the radio with us, and we had a little reception for Andre on his quest. Now, in truth, I don't know what it was, but, there was that big scandal whether Nikki Haley had been having an affair out there or not. And actually, it was, 3 or 4 guys, this was in the primary, 3 or 4 guys that were running against her. And she beat them all. And she beat him bad. I think Andre came in 4th, and he then got out of politics. Don't know if you remember this or not, but Andre was supposed to become the ambassador to one of the islands. I don't know, it was the Bahamas. It was one island that was right at the end of President Trump's first term. Now, because Trump was defeated, he never got to do that. But it looks like, it says that, this is from Fitz News, phones are ringing from the PD to the Isle of Palms, from the Midlands through the Piedmont to the upstate. Lots of phones, and there's one name being discussed above all others. Could the former lieutenant governor make a move against Lindsey Graham? And that, of course, is Andre Bauer. Once the wonderkind of Palmetto Pollux, the 56-year-old Charleston native, has been largely out of the public eye for well over a decade until now. However, he does have a very active social media. We've had him on the radio in the last, last year when Trump was running. He was a surrogate for Trump. He says, suddenly Bauer's name is on the tip of GOP activist tongues, and the story is always the same. It begins, I had a call from Andre Bauer the other day. Meanwhile, a visit to andrebauer.com produces the following under construction message. Sorry, we're doing some work on the site. Under construction. For a guy who's not running for office, he sure looks like somebody who's fixing to become a candidate, one Palmetto political operative said. All of which poses the question, is Andre Bauer positioning himself for a political comeback? And so that's I thought that would be interesting to bring up. Of course, he is a Republican, so this would be a primary bid against Lindsey Graham. And it says in this article from Fitz News, challenging Graham won't be a task for the faint of heart. The neoconservative stalwart has a seasoned statewide network in place, a team of battle-hardened campaign pros at his disposal, and is sitting on a war chest so large it would make tin pot dictators in banana republics green with envy. Yes, it's true. We're talking about Lindsey Graham. This is the issue. Lindsey Graham has a lot of money on hand. He's also got the most coveted endorsement from Donald Trump, but Bauer wouldn't be an ordinary challenger either, it says. He says he's earned his reputation of being the hardest working man in politics. That's what a retired strategist said. And so this is something that you might consider that he may be running against Lindsey Graham. And I'm sure he'd say he's not running a Lindsey Graham. He's running for the people of South Carolina. But would he be able to pull it off? This will be a subject of a lot of conversation. And of course, we also know that Andre would be a fierce competitor. It's just whether he's lost a lot of ground because he hasn't really been in politics, or will this be an advantage that he stepped out for a while and now he's stepping back in. Since then, of course, he's gotten married. He has a lovely son and a family that is just picture perfect on Facebook all the time. But we'll see how this goes. But Andre Bauer has been a favorite of Trump. It'll be interesting to see, does Trump stay with Lindsey Graham or does he change, as he has a tendency to do? All right. Well, we've got a lot of people running. Of course, Nancy Mace is looking at a run of whether she is going to run for... Is she going to run for governor? That's what the common thing is. But will she continue? I don't know. And then, of course, we have a pediatrician that is said that she's a Democrat that has put her hat in the ring. I really think this is pretty far-fetched for her, but kudos to her. And as I always say, I love it when people run because it's good for the radio business. So bring it on. Those are a few of the things that I know that are going on. I do know that City Council is having a special called meeting today. And tomorrow evening, County Council meets, so that's coming up as far as our local politics. At this moment, we still do not have a superintendent of schools, and I'm not sure if we are going to have one anytime soon, so we'll just have to wait and see. And of course, we want to say congratulations to our graduates. All of them made it across the stage, and we hope that they, A, find a job if that's where they're headed. If they're going to school, that they will take school serious and find their way in whatever career they would like to find. I tell you what, I am Ann Eller. I am going to give it up here this morning. I hope you know that coming up this week, we've got a great guest list coming up. Tomorrow, we're going to be talking about Kid Fest. That's going to be a good one. On Wednesday, we're talking to the Swingin' Medallions, Sean McElrath and Richard Loper. We're going to be talking about the good old days. And I just found out I am going to be previewing with the guys on Wednesday afternoon their new single. You don't want to miss that, 5 to 6, right here on WCRS Radio. Thursday is the big GPA event, so we will not be doing a show on Thursday, but that is the beginning of the Festival of Flowers. So you're going to want to make sure that you are up to date. Go to festivalofflowers.org, South Carolina festivalofflowers.org for all the details, That's going to do it for me. Have a great day. This is WCRS right here in Greenwood, South Carolina. Penny keeps telling me, she's down here on the floor telling me, I want to be in the show. I want to be part of the show. We got to get her on the show. We got to get her own Penny Cam here coming up real soon. Bye-bye, everybody. Have a great day. Let's see if I can get us out of here today. All right. Bye-bye, everybody.